So something I've been noticing ever since the Switch was announced is a lot of rumors of these games that people claim are coming when there's been no formal announcement, no hinting, no nothing, just people on Twitter or 4chan or Reddit or whatnot with unnamed sources, unnamed sources saying, oh yeah, it's real. And then other people come forward with more unnamed sources and say, oh yeah, they're right, it's real. But there's been no indication of it. Case in point, Pokemon. Pokemon is a big one. There's been this rumor going around for months and months and months saying that Pokemon Stars was going to be announced for the Switch. They said it was going to be announced at the Switch's unveiling back in October. Didn't happen. Then they said it was going to be announced at the presentation in January. Didn't happen. Then they said it would be in the latest Nintendo Direct. Didn't happen. Now people are saying it's going to be at E3. When people, they don't know their history. You know what I mean? Like, Pokemon has never had a huge presence at E3. The only thing at E3 that Pokemon's been at is they've shown some gameplay. They've never made any big formal announcements at E3. Yes, you can say Sun and Moon last year. They opened with it before Zelda. But Sun and Moon, we knew about that for many, many months. That was just more icing on the cake. It wasn't an announcement of a new game. They have never announced mainline Pokemon games at E3. They've been announced beforehand, and they might be shown off at E3 sometimes. That's history. That's gaming history. The thing about Pokemon Stars, see, a lot of people keep saying, "Oh, it's the third iteration of Sun and Moon. It'll be like Pokemon Emerald or Platinum was." And it'll be Switch exclusive. That doesn't make any sense because they've never skipped they've never skipped ahead to a whole console generation within the same Pokemon generation. Game Freak has never ever done that. The closest they've ever come was Pokemon Crystal, was Game Boy Color exclusive, could not be played on a regular Game Boy, whereas Gold and Silver were Game Boy Color enhanced. That's the closest they've ever come. But Game Boy Color and regular Game Boy, the specs are about the same. The games don't run that much better. It's just the color palettes, obviously. So that right there tells you, like, Black and White and Black and White 2. Black and White came out the same month the 3DS came out, and there was no 3DS version. Black and White 2 came out on the DS a year and a half after the 3DS was out. You know what I mean? That right there tells you, where was the 3DS's version of Black and White 2? It was nowhere, because they've never split a generation up like that between different system generations. Game Freak has never done that. And case in point, right here, Game Freak is hiring for a 3DS RPG. This is the news that just broke today. We don't know what the RPG is, but Game Freak has always been the big Pokemon developers. They've made some other smaller games here and there, especially like on the eShop these past couple years. They made Harmonite, they made Pocket Card Jockey, great games. But as far as RPGs, they've always been the Pokemon people, and they're working on one for the 3DS. If you played Sun and Moon like I have, you've known that Sun and Moon leaves a lot of room for expansion with either sequels or a third version, as well as the fact that there's a lot of hinting towards Diamond and Pearl, meaning we're probably going to get remakes of those. Any of that is going to be within the same generation of Sun and Moon. Right now we are in the 7th generation of Pokemon. Now a lot of people like to say that like they've data mined Sun and Moon and they found HD models of the new Pokemon. Okay, good point. At the same time, X and Y had HD models of the Pokemon. Where's our Switch or Wii U version of X and Y? You know what I mean? Game Freak is merely just future-proofing the games just in case there's compatibility with other stuff down the line. The Switch's hardware is completely different than the 3DS. It's completely different. The Switch is also going to be using a completely different online service that isn't, it's not necessarily the Nintendo network, but it's utilizing those Nintendo accounts. We're going to get a paid service. You know, it's going to be using separate servers from the 3DS. We've known about this for a long time. Why would they release a Pokemon game within the same Pokemon generation on a different system with different tech, which means that they're not going to connect? You know what I mean? There's no way that they're going to be able to make Sun and Moon on 3DS still be able to connect with Stars, because if they release Stars exclusively on the Switch, that's not going to happen. And then there's going to be people saying, oh, well, then to heck with it, just to still make Stars. They're not going to screw over 15 million people who bought Sun and Moon. Yes, Sun and Moon has sold 15 million since it came out back last year. 15 million copies. They're not going to screw people over like that. They're just not. And if you want them to, that's just a scumbag move. They've never done stuff like that with Pokemon. So, you know, case in point, Pokemon Stars, we're not getting it. Or if we are, it's going to be a 3DS game. Best case scenario is they might make two versions. They might make one for 3DS and one for Switch. They might have, you know, ported over. But there's not going to be an exclusive mainline Pokemon game on the Switch within this Pokemon generation. When they go on to make the 8th generation of Pokemon, who knows? We'll revisit that topic then. But the 7th generation started on 3DS. It's going to end on 3DS. Like every other generation has, it started and ended on its own system. Its own family of systems. That's basic Game Freak history, basic Nintendo history, basic Pokemon history, basic gaming history. Again, I grew up with the series. I've seen it. I've been playing since Red and Blue on the original Game Boy. So I know this stuff. I mean, it's crazy how people keep saying, oh, Pokemon Stars, it's coming, it's coming. It would have been announced by now. You know what I mean? There would have been some hinting of it. And I'm sorry, random people posting on Reddit or on Twitter saying, oh, I have unnamed sources that have seen the game in action. That's not proof. I mean, I could go to a cop and say this random person stole something, but if I don't have evidence for it, it's a baseless claim. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about here. Unnamed sources isn't a source. That means, I mean, it's just, it blows my mind how people are so attached to this rumor. Another game that people like to talk about is Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers Wii U is going to get some sort of port to the Switch. Again, that's just something that people have been saying since the Switch was unveiled. And again, it's baseless rumors, no actual evidence for it. People kept saying that, oh, it's gonna be coming. And then when they didn't announce it, people are like, oh, well, they're gonna announce the amiibo. That's why the amiibo for Cloud, Corn, and Bayonetta have not been released yet, because they're releasing them in a bundle for the Switch version. And then they announced the amiibo, you know, at that one Nintendo Direct about a month or two back. And they're coming out July 21st. They've already gone up for pre-order at several retailers and locations. Here's the thing. People are still saying, oh yeah, well, Smash Brothers is coming. Smash Brothers is coming. And people keep saying, like, when you look at lists online of people talking about upcoming games for the Switch, they keep listing Smash Brothers Wii U port. If it's not confirmed, if it's not announced, you shouldn't be putting that in your list. And when people say, oh, it'll be at E3, and that's going to be their big game, how is a port of a last generation game going to be their big game for E3? And then you're talking about they're using these amiibo as a bundle or something. Why would they do that? Why would they have announced the amiibo in advance and let people pre-order them and then be like, oh yeah, well, I mean, we know you pre-ordered them and everything, but we're going to release it in a bundle with a port, and that's going to be our big E3 announcement. They know that's suicide. That's ridiculous. The thing about, people like to compare it to Mario Kart. They'll be like, okay, well, if they're not going to port Smash Wii U, why'd they port Mario Kart? Mario Kart 8 sold more than Smash Bros. Wii U. True. But Smash Brothers as a whole, for 3DS and Wii U, because technically the same game, just different versions, it sold more than Mario Kart 8. The 3DS one sold over 7 million worldwide. The Wii U one sold over 5 million worldwide. If you do the math, that's 12 million. Over 12 million worldwide. And if they already have a 3DS version readily available, and yes, they're not supporting the Wii U that much anymore, but they're supporting the 3DS greatly. They got a new model coming out in July. They got games coming out every single month practically till fall, and there's going to be more announced at E3. They're supporting it just as much as they're supporting the Switch. And they still have Smash Brothers on there. You can go out to any retail and buy a brand new copy. So why would they port that over? You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure Nintendo's going to wait a couple of years and get a brand new Smash Brothers game in the works, because then we'll have all brand new stages, brand new characters. We'll have new characters from Splatoon 2. We'll get the ARMS characters, new Fire Emblem characters, so on and so forth. Again, it just blows my mind how people look at a rumor just because a bunch of people come out, a bunch of no-name people come out and say, "Oh, I have unnamed sources that says it's coming." People take that as a confirmation when there's no actual evidence towards it. You know what I mean? It's just, it blows my mind. This and Pokemon Stars, I file under bullcrap. I do, because there's no evidence whatsoever of it. There just isn't. The last game I want to talk about is this. I don't know how to feel about this one. It could happen, it could not. This artwork rubs me the wrong way. Something is off about it. Mario's proportions, his head, his face looks a little off. Yoshi looks like a midget. The artwork looks kind of like a Minecraft-ish sort of thing. I'm not exactly sure. The logo looks very photoshopped. I don't know. There hasn't been a lot of evidence for this one either, but artwork just started pouring out the other day, and I don't know. I don't know. It could happen, could not. We'll wait till E3. But again, my point is, I don't dabble in rumors. I don't count rumors as facts, because of the thing that this artwork, yeah, it looks great. It looks like it could be real, could not. But granted, anyone can go in Photoshop with enough skills and make something that looks just like this. And yes, the artwork does look a little off to me. I'm not saying it's a baseless rumor, because it does have some things going for it. Ubisoft has said that they are making an exclusive Switch game for the Switch, and yada yada. But again, it's a wait and see thing, But the thing is, even though it has a little bit of evidence towards it, neither Nintendo or Ubisoft has made any hinting towards it, besides Ubisoft saying they have an unannounced Switch game. And they haven't come out and said anything about it. So why would I focus on rumors about Pokemon and Smash ports and a random crossover game when I have Street Fighter coming out tomorrow? I have ARMS coming out next month. I have Splatoon 2 coming out in July. I got game after game after game. Xenoblade 2, Fire Emblem Warriors, Fire Emblem game coming out next year, Super Mario Odyssey, so on and so forth. I have games confirmed that I'm greatly looking forward to. Why would I care so much about baseless rumors for 2 games, potentially 3, that, I'm sorry, in my opinion, don't exist? So, if E3 comes around and these games end up being a thing, I'll eat my words. I will definitely eat my words, but again, I'm calling it like I sees it, and it's all rumors, no confirmation, no evidence. And again, Street Fighter, ARMS, Splatoon 2, Xenoblade, Mario Odyssey, I can go on and on. Those games are all confirmed, coming out this year, and I cannot wait. So literally after recording the video, I noticed this, so I had to add this part on at the end. So yeah, it's looking more and more like it's real, because it's been rated in Brazil. Something's still a little bit off to me, because I know Nintendo pulled out of Brazil back in 2015. I'm not even 100% sure if the Switch is out there, but I'm just, I don't know, but it hasn't been formally announced yet. We'll see if and when it is. I'm willing to give it a shot, but my point from earlier still stands. There's been dozens and dozens and dozens of games officially confirmed, announced, shown off, a lot of them coming out this year, and I'm excited for them. Why do I need to waste time getting excited over this when this was a rumor back in January? Again, there was no evidence for it back in January. There was no evidence until today with this listing. I mean, and you can't fault me for not paying any attention because, again, a lot of rumors are baseless and amount to nothing, whereas there's actual games getting announced. So my point still stands. This game is probably going to end up being announced at E3. Cool. I'm willing to give it a shot. But up until now, it's been a rumor. I'm just putting that out there.